Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the build-up show. We are playing West Ham at the weekend. Ross joins me, as does Chris Pager. Gents, and more specifically, Chris Pager.
Hi, Paul.
I'm
feeling it.
I'm poorly, but it's fine.
That's not though, is
That's
it?
made me feel like,
Should
really on edge.
we do a man
Normally
league?
it's fine.
You all right, lad?
Yeah, sound lads. Yeah, sound.
Lads,
Yeah. Back to reality this weekend, Chris. You know, we've had a couple of weeks of, building up to the Champions League, then some time of smashing Porto, then basking in the glory of smashing Porto in between being stuck in Portugal.
I don't know. We got to, sun it up for 6 minutes outside Barcelona airport.
Did we?
Not really.
No, because it wasn't great weather in Barcelona either. And then we've kind of had this week where I've just kind of stumbling around a little bit of a post-Champions League days, but West Ham United, David Moyes, back on his old stomping grounds. It doesn't get much more real than this, really, does it?
No, not at all. Like David Moyes he's not beating us at Anfield. I just remembered I got the agenda in my arse pocket, Paul. I wrote down some stats. I did some research. Because, I got the agenda more than a minute before we come down to film. David Moyes has drawn 7 and lost 7 against Liverpool at Anfield.
Scintillating record. Did you really have to get your paper off?
I've got loads.
All right, so
I'm going to intersperse them like magic dust throughout the shot. You'll be able to tell when I'm doing it because the sheet comes out of my arse pocket and I'll do this.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's one of those games, isn't it, Ross, where, let's call it what it is. We've got a lot of these games between now and the end of the season. It's very hard to... You'd be falling on senseless hyperbole to try and beef up this match to any more important than it has. We've got a lot of important games, but we haven't got too many games against teams that are massive rivals and what have you. The point about this one is, with how our rivals' fixtures fall this weekend, we got a 3 o'clock kick-off on a Saturday. Great opportunity to put a few points on the board before everyone else goes and cuts each other's throats.
Yeah, and I think more so in recent games, we tend to have learnt from those lesser teams and the lower block sides, and loads of people have mentioned game management, but I think the past 2-3 games for me, Southampton, definitely Porto, and I think there was one in between that. We just look a more rounded team. Virgil van Dijk's growing into his place, Lois Karius is growing into his space, and when you play like West Ham, you think we need these 3 points because, like you said, the other people that are around you, it's so close in the top. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. You need to take advantage of that and capitalise on other people as well. And
this is a Liverpool side that owe West Ham something as well, isn't it? The last 3 times we've played at Anfield, I think they've won 1, drawn 2, something like that, haven't they? And it's absolutely on there. But this time I learnt my lesson. I read it while Ross was talking.
Oh, yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
You weren't listening to me.
Shut up. Of course I was listening to you babbling on about something to do with the Reds being boss and West Ham being rubbish under David Moyes, basically. And no, listen, Moyes has done a good job with them so far. I remember speaking to Nicky from West Ham Fan TV a few weeks ago and him saying like they're a lot fitter than they used to be. I had a quick look at it, and that Masuka and Antonio are second and third in the league in dribbles attempted per game. And I thought that was a really random stat from a David Moyes team as well, like, you know what I mean? And I know that Arnautovic has been involved in quite a few goals, hasn't he? I think he scored 7 and assisted 3 since Moyes took charge or something like that. So he's a bit of a danger man for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, what's telling is that he seems to be getting a tune out of what he's got. You're
loving that, getting a tune out of, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
3 times on the Reds News Roundup show yesterday, you said it.
Did I?
Yeah, you're loving it.
It's weird how that creeps into language. You have expressions that you use and they enter into your short-term memory, and then you just say them over and over and over again. Like, for example, if you said the word flange, guarantee you'd find a way to work flange in. Just stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that, avid viewers. I was going to say it.
It tends to follow with swear words. Once you've said one, they're there.
Like what? Doesn't
Flange.
matter. Arnautovic is up and running. It's interesting. I had a bit of a debate with, I think it was Ped the other day about him, and people were saying he's a bit of a match of the day player. Whereas I like him. He tears around the place. He causes problems. He should probably have more goals than he has. He's not necessarily a clinical finisher, but I mean, him and Andes are both on 7 league goals apiece. They both managed to score in the win against Watford, which in itself was a little bit of a surprise. Given that Watford have actually turned a little bit of a corner in recent weeks, kind of stopped the off for West Ham as well. So they've not been great. they've not flown this season, but
They're just picking up a few points, aren't
no,
they?
but this is, I mean, look, this is the thing, they're 12th in the league, and I'm not sure whether that's because they're the fact that they've only won 1 in 5 tells you everything you need to know about that middle section of the Premier League, and why really, as much as it's David Moyes and as much as he'll want to get something, as much as West Ham do have a degree of hoodoo against us at Anfield over probably the last 10 years.
Do you know, before that it was 45 games since they won in Anfield.
Decent.
45 games before that 3. So can we just go back to that, please?
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? And this Liverpool, Ross, finally before we move on, is that we've got so many of these type of games between now and the end of the season. Our away form's been great. We need to get the home form back to that kind of level.
Yeah, I think that Arnautovic stuff, sorry, just going back to that, he brings character to a team, doesn't he? Which I think, if you look at where Stoke are now, and we spoke before the match about before the programme about needle and aggression. I mean, that's what he brings to them, and I think, like you said, he can cause problems for us. But like I said before, I like to think that through previous games we've learned how to deal with that. I think even in Porto, the first 10-15 minutes we soaked up pressure, which we haven't been able to do so far this season, and then hit people on the break. And with these lower block sides, that's what we need to try and do.
Definitely, there is something where I remember looking into the stats earlier on in the week about the times that Liverpool can see goals and stuff, and for a large proportion of the season, the time when we concede the most goals is the last 15 minutes of the game. And it still is the highest, but we've not conceded a really late goal, apart from like Tottenham, obviously in the league a couple of weeks. But we're starting to root out those little errors, and we're starting to just become more patient throughout our play. Yeah. And Porto's a great example. We soaked that pressure up, and then we just hit them. And what I expect is going to be a completely different game against West Ham. We're going to take the ball, and the onus is going to be on us, and it's going to be on that front 3. And I think you saw with the movements of Mane and Firmino and that interchangeability that we've seen a little bit more over the last few weeks than just Salah and Firmino, that we're going to work both of these players in from wide positions now. And Mane obviously got a hat-trick against Porto, but the previous games, how many headers did he have in front of goal where he could have scored? Yeah. He's turning that corner, and it's just a slight change to how we play football at the moment, but we're freeing him up a lot more, and teams are having to focus on Mo Salah because, second top scorer in the league and stuff. So West Ham are going to have a tough day at Anfield, because we're going to want to celebrate what the lads did in Porto as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only concern is that this is one of those games, and we'll see if this is borne out in people's preferred 11s in a moment, but where we've struck that balance between attack and defence. We've had to fine-tune that as the season's gone on. There would be a massive temptation with this game for us to crank it up, maybe a bit too far. We know they do have the ability to hurt you, so we'll have to see what Jürgen goes with. But yeah, we're doing preferred 11s in a moment. Before then, did a fantastic show on the redmentv.com this week. Steve has alternated things slightly. Normally the Reds news roundup, it became the Reds question roundup, answering your questions about everything Liverpool FC.
Loan wise, we've seen other teams loan players out, bringing them back, and it's been a while that Liverpool have ever done that. Like Harry Kane went on loan to 10 different places, and now he's Tottenham's best player. It's very rare that Liverpool get anything out of loans, unless they're like really, really young kids. It's hard for me to think. Usually a loan from Liverpool means that you're done. I wonder if that's going to change now, because Harry Wilson's out on loan, Grujic is out on loan, Ajari is out on loan. I wonder if they've kind of wisened up to the fact that, it doesn't mean that's the end of your career. I think
we've set precedent, haven't we, with the manager, to say, by and large, provided you work your bollocks off in training, you'll always get another go. It's something Paul Tompkins referenced in the article on the website from the Klopp book from Rafa Honigstein about that, is that people always felt with Jürgen that he'd always be prepared to give you another opportunity if you were prepared to seize that opportunity. So these lads have all got the best chance there's ever been at Liverpool of coming back into this side. The only other example where it's worked, sort of, was probably Shelvey. Perfect. Yeah, if you want to go and get involved, do watch that show. I say he does it every single week, everything you need to know about the Reds. And obviously, as the season progresses as well, we head towards it being the Reds transfer roundup, getting some really, really good show. Steve is top quality. You can get down a whole host of other things for just £5 a month, or free for the first month if you've not tried it before. So get involved. Preferred 11s then, gentlemen. Chris is flipped. He's gone for the flip, but we'll start with Ross. Ross has brought... You've brought Joe Gomez and Joel Matip back into your back four.
Yeah, do you know what? I really struggled with this throughout the whole team. Maybe not the front three and carriers, but actually, not thinking about it. Well, I debated putting Danny Ings in because I think it might be a good game for him to start, to be fair. But then I thought, well, you don't need a rest, did he? Just had 10 days off. That's why.
Who did you put up front? What does that say?
It's Bobby. Looks like it says Booby though.
Salah, Booby, Mane.
Salah, Booby, Mane, yeah. Equally, I thought debated Klein. Is it a good game for him to start, or do you bring him on and give him half an hour? This one, half an hour against Newcastle, and then I don't know.
You've struggled with your bees there, lad, haven't you? Look at Robbo as well.
I did little bees, and then I had to put it all in capitals. I got you know what? Funny enough, Chris, I got distracted whilst writing this before.
Well, you shouldn't have eaten a cream egg when you were writing something.
You should have been so abusive. I'll eat it how I want to eat it.
Sound. Yeah, no, I think Chris, you've gone for Trent at the back. I think across the board,
I've gone for
Matip.
capitalised bees. There's bees as well.
It's a good solid start.
But small eyes only for me.
But yeah, put dots on your eyes.
You got to sometimes, haven't you? I went with Matip in there because I think we'll need his balls into the forwards and into the just his big balls into the wingers and stuff. And I like the fact that when we're playing a bit more of a side that are going to sit in and stuff, Joel Matip could be that guy that breaks them down. Similarly, that's why I went with Trent as opposed to Gomez. My midfield three, that was where I struggled, much like Ross, to be honest. I want to see Lallana start a game of football. And I like that Hendo Chan thing, flipped for how Ross has done it.
Yeah,
but
just
Chan's
to clarify,
there
is precisely 0% chance that we'll see Emre Can hold him while Jordan Henderson's in particularly in that side of the midfield.
Looks like he's extended his A there as well. What do you think? Did you? You did, didn't you?
I always extend my A. I just think Chan's a better six. I think he's better in the six.
No, I mean, I completely disagree for this type of game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, you're entitled to be...
You're entitled, but you're
wrong.
wrong.
You're entitled to your opinion, but I'm hosting the show, so I'm going to talk now for a little bit, and you're not going to get to express why you've got your opinion. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
So, Paul, you don't need to do that anymore. I've done it for you.
We give you too much, Ross. I'm so sorry. We're so mean to you. What he's picked stupid, Chris. There's no evidence to suggest.
He's entitled to his opinion, and maybe I'd like to hear why he'd like to see Hendo in these. I don't, because he's totally fucking wrong, by the way.
No, this is the thing. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't mean you're a special snowflake above criticism. You're wrong. You're dead wrong. No, look, here's the thing. We said a couple of weeks ago, I'd like to see Jordan Henderson let loose a little bit, and I agree. I think Emre Can is a much more solid base. I actually would not. I would not. It's weird. I wouldn't like to see Emre Can really in that team. I would like us to go a bit brave. I would like to put Lallana and Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield, or keep Jimmy Wijnaldum in there.
We need Wijnaldum.
We need Wijnaldum. That's his porn star name. Not very successful. But that being said, there's simply no chance Emre Can doesn't come back in because he's missed a game. He's now hasn't played a game for 2 weeks. And what you were saying, I don't think we'll see too much rotation because we need to keep people in the flow of playing football. So Emre Can will go into. I would prefer to see him if only because. Not because of the style of play, not necessarily because of what he brings to the team, but because I want him up and running for when we need him. In a couple of weeks' time.
I must admit, like I have tempered my preferred 11 with what I think's likely a little bit today. But you just mentioned the midfield that I'd probably like to see, and that would be Ox and Lallana. Yeah. So I want to know if Ox has got that ability to be that box-to-box player like a Wijnaldum or an Emre Can. I haven't seen it from him yet, but I do think it's there. And I think he needs a little bit of a boost in confidence. He's not been very good coming off the bench at all, but when he started games for us, he's been really good. I'd like to see him start, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think, again, the reason why I've gone with Trent at fullback and Matip as well is just because it's going to be one of those games we're going to be tasked with breaking them down. And we did this actually on the Reds question roundup, didn't we? We talked about the centre-half partnerships. And the conclusion that we've kind of come to is Matip's likely to start the games where you need to break teams down, and Lovren will be there when you need someone to throw the body on the line.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I've grown up with football thinking that you need a centre-back partnership, and I still probably believe that, but Klopp's kind of showing me that you don't. You know, we've been able to put our horses down for different courses at the moment, and, you know, Lovren coming in for those big games and putting his body on the line's been brilliant, and Matip just the control and the measured passes that he's able to play against teams that are sitting back a little bit. It's a really great option. If Van Dijk can strike a partnership with both of them, we'll be in a really good position.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable with that rotation since Karius has been made number one. Yeah, I think that was the problem. been
Maybe
going.
Yeah, well, I'll see. Well, it'd be an interesting one for Karius as well, because this game last season, he was terrible positioning for the free kick, and that really knocked him in the eyes of a lot of Liverpool fans. That was the kind of beginning and the end for him as well. Like, so, big test for him, to be sure. Just looking again around the league, as mentioned, everyone plays on Sunday this week. So you got Crystal Palace hosting Spurs as the 12 o'clock kickoff, followed by Man United versus Chelsea, and then the League Cup final of Arsenal versus Man City. That clutch of fixtures there, Chris. I mean, I would expect Spurs to come through against Palace, but that'll be a tough physical encounter for them, to be sure. United Chelsea, there isn't a result there that is bad for Liverpool, because someone around us is going to drop points. And equally, I don't really care about the League Cup. We're not there. We're not in it, so I don't care about it. If Arsenal win it, then it takes the shine off Man City a little bit. If Man City win it, then Arsenal are plunged even further into yet more massive crises. You'll have their players coming out left, right, and centre, and just wearing bulletproof gear with "I hate Arsenal Fan TV" written on it.
I can't wait for it. Like, full disclosure, we're going to Arsenal Fan TV's 5th birthday party on Tuesday. They lose the cup final. I might go in a Man City shirt.
That's going to be like a week, mate, if they don't win that game. My God. Yeah, that'll be a very interesting one indeed. Ross, how do you think that if you had to put a couple of quid on it, how would you bank them fixtures to go?
You fancy Spurs, wouldn't you? They're in fine form at the minute.
Fine fettle.
I think they're probably joint second / third best team in the league, if I'm honest. If they've got the full squad out. Man United, Chelsea, I don't know. I'd like to have a draw and just have them kick the crap out of each other and lose a few players.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the League Cup final, same thing. Just.
So what are you doing? Is this a request a bet? Because you've gone into the bookies and gone, I'd really like to put money on them kicking the crap out of each other.
5 red cards in each game, both teams to score.
Perfect.
Someone to die.
Loads of injuries.
Get a nugget out.
Yeah.
Well, we won't be doing those kind of things, but you will be predicting first goal scorer in the starting 11 this week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so if you want to see how Chris actually goes with his starting 11, do check out that show, of course. I want to predict who I think will win. I think. Did we do this on the podcast?
I don't know.
By all means, repeat yourself.
I'm going to. I want a Chelsea win. I think I've changed my mind after watching Chelsea last night. I think they're going to be very, very tired after that game, but I think it's going to be a draw.
Why do you want a Chelsea win?
What was that noise?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah, that was the noise, wasn't it?
Couldn't replicate it with his elbow. Funny that.
What's that
go on.
smell?
Cream egg. Why do you want a Chelsea win?
Because I think we're better. I want to finish above Manchester United.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, that's a solid reason.
And Chelsea can mess up against anyone, whereas Man United are a little bit more consistent.
That's it's a decent shout. It's win-win for us, really, isn't it? Again, Chris and I discussed it on the podcast. If you listen to it, then thank you very much. If not, then go and search out the Redmen TV podcast. But yeah, there's a part of you that's the little fearful part of you that wants as many. You want Arsenal, and if it's going to be Chelsea, fine, sound, whatever, to implode, just so we can go. Just so we, because I honestly, I don't want us to have to preference something, and I feel like we might have to preference an approach in a couple of weeks' time, depending on how if we get through past Porto, and obviously how the quarterfinals draws goes and what have you. It would be nice not to have to chase every single point between now and the end of the season, but right. I agree that I would much prefer. I think it stands us in far better stead for the season moving from next season to be able to say, we were the team that ran City the closest.
Yeah. You know what? I've not thought about it like that, Paul. You raise a really interesting point, and I suppose the follow-on from it would be the team that are going to struggle to get through the most are going to be Chelsea in the Champions League. So maybe we should want a Manchester United win, because they're probably not going to have as many games between now and the end of the season as the rest, as they will just have to preference the Premier League, because I'd guess Barcelona are going to beat them.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on it. What do you want actually? Yeah, do you want a Man United? What score or what outcome would you prefer most in the Man United Chelsea game? Let us know that in the comments below. That would be great. Before we go, got an amazing competition prize. Ross, switch on. What were you looking at?
What
were you reading?
Thinking about that cream egg, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ross, do you want to just tell the wonderful viewers at home what this is and how they can go about winning it?
Yep. So it's a signed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. question we're talking about.
That is a frame with a signed Steven Gerrard picture from Istanbul 2005. We're giving it away as a competition. If you go onto our Twitter, you'll see it there at the top of our tweet. It's given away by A1 Sports Memorabilia. The details of the video for the competition are on our Twitter. You can win that. It's got a certificate of authenticity. It's absolutely brilliant. It's the desktop image that I had for years and years and years on my old computer at home. One of my favourite Liverpool pictures ever, signed by the man himself, and you could win it completely free. No catches. You've just got to retweet something and follow someone, and you could win that. How boss is that, like?
Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, at the Redmen TV on Twitter, get over, win yourself a signed Steven Gerrard picture. Amazing. If you think Liverpool can turn over Moyes Hammers, drop a like on this video right now. Subscribe to the Redmen TV YouTube channel for more, and we shall be back. Chris will be doing the starting 11 prediction, and we'll be back this weekend with all the post-match content.